Okay, people, I'm going to address this issue one last time because I think it's been made pretty clear that really it doesn't matter what I say, what anyone says. Doesn't matter what proof you present to some people. Some people are going to think something no matter what. Um, I don't know really what else to say. I know that some people are going to claim certain things because of historical context, even though this issue is showing very little in common with that. I know that certain people are going to claim certain things and completely dance around logic, but I'm going to read you. This is a transcript of an interview that was a roundtable interview that was done with M. Night Shyamalan. IGN was there, MTV was there, a lot of people were there. And they asked him a lot of questions about the movies, and they did bring up the, casting. And so I'm going to read his explanation for it. I'm going to read you his explanation, right? I'm going to show you how the man thinks. Now, once again, I'm going to stress, I can't stress this enough. This is the mind of the director himself, the man helming the project. This is the mind of an Indian gentleman, not a white man. This is the mind of a man who, contrary to what some people have said, was directly involved in the casting. So to say that they made him work with these actors is absolutely untrue. Now, I, oh wow, I really don't know what to say after this though. I'm probably gonna do a couple more on this maybe, talk about different stuff about the movie and everything, but probably not gonna touch on this topic again because some people are just stubborn. Here we go. Question. One of the biggest questions we get on a regular basis whenever we write about this movie is about casting. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are some fans that have had casting issues with Sokka and Katara and the Fire Nation. I was wondering if you could finally address those questions and those fans that are concerned about the casting. Okay, there's your question. Here we go. Well, here's the thing. The great thing about anime is that it's fairly ambiguous. The features of the character are an international mix of all features, or intentional mix of all features. It's intended to be ambiguous. That's completely its point. And so when we watch Katara, my oldest daughter is literally like a photo double of Katara in the cartoon. So that means that Katara is Indian, correct? No. That's just in our house. And her friends that watch it, they see themselves in it, and that's what's so beautiful about anime. When we were casting, I didn't care who walked through my door. Whoever's the best for the parts, I'm going to figure out through a chess game. Ideally, we separate the nations ethnically, ideally. But I don't know how or what it's going to be. It was so fluid. For example, if you found a great brother, but it didn't go with my favorite Katara, then I couldn't use him. Theoretical things like that would happen. There was an Aang that I really loved, but he was like 5'10". There are all kinds of issues that come to the table. I kept having a board of all the people that I was considering. There was one time, I think their background was Chinese, Sokka and Katara. One of them, though, was a much better actor than the other, and I was getting my pros and cons. Let's say that was that. What would the Fire Nation be? And you just do that. Being without agenda and letting it come to the table. Noah's like a photo double for the cartoon. I mean, he's literally spot on. To me, the best part is I didn't really know their backgrounds. Noah, for me, has a slightly mixed quality look to him. So I cast airbenders as all mixed race. So when you see the monks and that stuff, they're all mixed. And it kind of goes with the nomadic culture over the years that all different nationalities came to the table. The Fire Nation was the most complicated. I kept switching who was playing Zuko. It was such a complicated and drawn-out thing about practical matters. The first person I was considering for Zuko was Ecuadorian. So I started thinking that way. And then when that person couldn't do it, the second person who came in was much more Caucasian. I was like, well, then we have to switch the others. So how are we going to do this? What is the Earth Kingdom was always the issue because the second movie is so dominated by that group and will represent most of the movie. But it has a small part in the first movie. And that was important. It just sort of came into being and started to distill. With me so far? Here we go. Dev came into the picture fairly early on. He had auditioned for me in London. He's kind of like a sweet guy, but he did such a great reading. I always go for the actor. When I was doing The Sixth Sense, you literally read the script of The Sixth Sense, and Cole, the main character, is dark hair and black-eyed. I always pictured the kid from Searching for Bobby Fischer as the lead of The Sixth Sense. We are not casting or hiring any blonde LA kids, okay? Don't even bring them in. But then Haley came in, and you got the part. How can you not have him play the part? So that's always been my lean. I have hopes of what I want them to be. My hope was that this movie would be incredibly diverse. When we look back on the 3 movies, without peer, they were the most diverse movies of all time. I'm going to assume that he means, I don't know. And that is the case when you watch this movie. It's not like an agenda when you see a picture of a kid's school with kids on the swings and there's one from each background. It's not like that. It's a real thing. This nation has this ethnicity, and when we go deep into that culture, we'll see more and more of that. Again, Dev ended up being my choice for Zuko. I looked for an uncle that could be in that realm. For a moment there, I thought of doing Ben Kingsley, but Sean Tube, who I loved in Iron Man, took us into a kind of a Mediterranean, Arab, and Indian world. I can go as far as that. That would be the Breath of the Fire Nation, that kind of look. For me, Nicola had a lot of Russian qualities and European qualities, so that's where I was going to go there. Just like that, whoever we ended up with, I said that's their nationality. Suki was Jessica, who is a mix of Filipino and stuff. So the Earth Kingdom is going to be all Asian. Toph will now have to be Asian, like that. I looked at the board and I said, this works for me. And there's a section of that, that's African American. Because it's such a big land, I felt you could have some diversity in there as you travel through the different cities. So more than the show, it will have a much more diverse ethnic background. It's not an agenda for me, but it's something I'm super proud of. That when my kids look at, or any kids look at it, they'll see themselves in the movie. And that right there is the thought process that went into him casting the film. No agenda, nothing. He found the actors that he thought best fit the parts, and he went from there. He cast the leads, and then therefore he had to cast the ethnicities after the leads. It's just plain and simple. Now, I know some people are going to sit there and throw a fit. I know some people are going to say, yeah, but yada yada. I really don't care. All I can say is you can say that you would have preferred them to be a certain way. You could say that maybe they should have been, but you can't say that this guy went in there with a clear agenda of trying to swap races in the film. He went in there trying to find the best actor for the part no matter what, and then made adjustments accordingly. There's some other stuff in here about changes made to the film, about graphics, the film score even some stuff about possibly Unbreakable 2. If you guys want to hear about that too, let me know. I'll make some more updates on it. I'm also going to make one more video before, not too distantly in the future, about why the protest channel's been covering this in the first place anyways. So, anyways, I hope that answers some of your questions. To the rest of you who refuse to accept it, well, you're going to refuse to accept it no matter what, I guess. So there's no point in arguing with you anymore. I made my point, people have made their points. So I guess we'll just see, won't we? Later.